He is the illustrious mayor of Dardanelle, and he is in the studio right now. We're talking to Mayor Jimmy Witt right after this on the Spotlight. From the beautiful Alathus building in downtown Russellville, we welcome you into the Spotlight on this Monday. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Drew Brent, and if you're in the market to buy or sell your home, give us a call today. It's 479-968-5668. Cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. One of our fine agents, always willing, ready, and able to serve you. That's russellvilleliving.com. In studio today is a personal friend of mine, and got to be one of the candidates for Mayor of the Year, Mayor Jimmy Witt. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
I got that intro right? Exactly how you wrote it.
Yes.
It's okay.
Well, it's close.
All right. Well, I had to take a couple of journalistic liberties there. Let's have some fun with you there, Mayor.
Okay.
Last time you were here, we talked about growth of Dardanelle. There was a lot of moving parts, and there's still a lot of moving parts. A lot of great things that people are excited about, but let's not go round and round right now. Let's talk about the roundabout. It's coming.
The roundy round.
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat this story, I think, probably about 400 times over the next year. I had called RDOT, State of Arkansas Department of Transportation, called their Little Rock office. I needed Director Tudor to send some people down. We had applied for the $12 million grant, to revamp Union Street, which is Highway 7 when you come off the bridge into Dardanelle. And I'm very excited about it. I'm probably overconfident about our chances of getting this grant this year, but it's our third year, and I really feel pretty good about it. We're going to widen that. We're going to widen Union Street,
right,
approximately 6 feet or so. All the utilities will go underground. There'll be new sidewalks, green space, decorative lighting. It's going to change the entire scope of the city of Dardanelle. So I had the guys come down because it's a federal grant called RAISE grant, and feds pay 80%, and state, local, or somebody pays the other 20%. So since it's a state highway and I'm doing all the work, I asked RDOT, hey, you need to pay the 20% for this. To me, it's common sense.
Right.
And I was hoping and crossing my fingers that they were going to see it my way. And they did, I think. They were very impressed with the volume of traffic we have for a little over a half-mile stretch of road. We have 27,000 cars a day going north and south on that road. And then on the sides coming in east and west, you have another 10,000. So
right,
theoretically, you're at 37,000. So while they were there, we go out and look at my project. We come back to the office, and they're carrying a map, and they said, while we're here, let me show you what we have planned and already approved for the next 2, 3, 4 years around your area.
And to be clear, this is the Arkansas Department of Transportation.
That's correct.
These are the people who have drawn up the plans you're about to tell us about.
That's correct.
All right, just so we're clear, carry on.
Not the city of Dardanelle.
Not the city of Dardanelle, and we can't emphasize that enough.
No, I can't say that word enough. So he pulls out the map, and along Quay Street from South 5th to Quay, which runs towards Walmart,
Yeah.
we had planned and put in for a grant to put a new sidewalk down that.
Just down from the hospital.
Yep, just down from the hospital. We have a lot of foot traffic there, and it's been needed for a long time. So we're working with Tyson for a new wall around their facility with the logos, and it's really going to look neat. He said, the RDOT people say, we see where you have applied for a TAPS grant for this sidewalk project, right? And I said, yes, sir. I said, we're going to go all the way across, and we'll have a crosswalk going to Walmart. He said, well, that's what I want to show you. So he says, we have a plan right here for a project that we've already approved for 2023, and it may mess up your project on the crosswalk. And that's when he told me that we're going to put a roundabout in. Of course, I was like, no, you did not say those words. I do not want to hear those words. And I said, no, we're not putting a roundabout in. No. He said, yes, sir, Mayor, we've already got it approved. It will eliminate both these stoplights. It's going to free flow the traffic. And I agree with all of that. It does. It moves traffic. And our traffic is horrible in the afternoons and mornings right there. You're jammed up for 10 minutes a lot of times just trying to get through the lights.
Especially during school traffic.
Especially during school. And so, of course, I brought up all the big truck traffic that we have. And he said, no, this is going to be a really large roundabout that will accommodate semi-traffic. And it may be a 2-lane roundabout, and so it's coming. And then we got to talking, and I asked him why, and he said, well, this is all over the state of Arkansas. They are eliminating intersections with stoplights, literally north, south, east, and west. They're going everywhere. There's a big one just got built up in the Rogers area.
Yeah.
Big interchange up there. It's huge. And, they have all that semi-traffic coming down 49 there. So, matter of fact, we discussed another intersection that is a real traffic problem for us, and that's Nebo Road and Highway 22. And he said, well, you can count that there will be another roundabout there sometime in the future. So it's just the cards we've been dealt. We're going to have to deal with it. It's not something I can stop. This is a decision that was made at the state level. And so I called the chief and I said, well, Chief, I got some bad news. You might as well get ready for a recommended for a while.
I mean,
but it works. They really work. Once you learn to drive in them, they work.
I will tell you a story that you'll appreciate, and I'm not going to tell you who I was riding with because they are a prominent figure in this state. But I was working in Little Rock. I just got my first TV job, and a very famous on-air reporter was driving the Channel 7 rig in Conway, had never driven a roundabout before, and we just drove in circles all around UCA for about 10, 15 minutes trying to figure out how this thing worked. Now, this was back in 2007, obviously. I mean, and it's been 14, 15 years ago now. But once you get used to it, it's not that bad. Sand Lizard folks, it's going to be okay, I promise. We will make it through this.
I tell you, the two big ones they put in at Sam's at Conway.
Yeah.
Before they got the signage up, and I'm leaving Sam's trying to go back to the interstate. 2 or 3 times I've headed towards Amity, down to Amity, headed towards the mall.
Yeah.
And so it's going to spit you. There's one thing about it; it's going to spit you out somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're going to be close.
You're going, and there's enough back roads in Dardanelle that you can maneuver around it if you have to.
That's right. That's right. I know, and so I asked them. One of the guys' name's Jared Wiley, and the other one's name is Gil. And so I asked him, I said, am I free to talk about this now? I would rather start talking about it now, way ahead of time, so we can get all the questions answered and get the shock therapy over with, because it's Dardanelle. You don't think Dardanelle in a roundabout, but
no.
So here we go. But it's really good. It is really going to help me with my traffic issues. And, I told you before, there's 2 key things that Dardanelle's missing. One is fixing Union Street. That I really believe that's when you do that and you change and it's going to be so starkly different than how it looks now. The property values are going to go up, and you're going to see new stuff come in and buy the old buildings out and build new things, and it's really going to speed up our growth. The other thing is a hotel, and there is a gentleman who I've met with 2 or 3 times now. They have their plans, what I understand, at the bank. They're fixing to build a new hotel in Dardanelle, and we need that really bad. It's with all the traffic, people don't realize it's not just for the tourists. It's like Tyson and Wayne Farms being in Yale County. They have executives in town every week, and they all stay over here and have to drive from over here on this side of Russellville all the way across either to Danville or Dardanelle.
Right.
And, that's anywhere, each one of them will be anywhere from 5 to 10 or 15 people a week. And so there's a pretty good rental flow right there on a hotel room. And not to mention the bike trails, the bass tournaments, the ball tournaments, and we're on the cusp of finishing our soccer complex. So
Right.
we're going to be promoting soccer tournaments as well. So
while we're on the subject of bike trails and that sort of thing, as this airs, it will be the week before Arkansas Bike Fest, and
Yes.
and that's a joint operation between the city of Russellville, the city of Dardanelle, and Friends of Mount Nebo.
That's right.
Matter of fact, as this airs later on this week, Gregory Hines is going to be on the show
Yep.
talking about that. Kind of walk me through Arkansas Bike Fest from the Dardanelle perspective.
It's awesome. We have the mountain, and Walton Foundation has spent all this money building these new bike trails, and it's brought, I'm going to say, an extra 1,000 to 1,500 people on an average a weekend to Dardanelle and to the mountain. So we've got them around town. They're starting to learn what we have to offer in Dardanelle and along the riverfront. We have 3 or 4 new businesses already on Front Street there in Dardanelle, and we're continuing to upgrade that. But Bike Fest, Mayor Harris and I, he called me one day, it's about a year ago, it was in October, I think, and he said, hey, we need to look at doing a joint festival together to promote the River Valley. And so we talked 2 or 3 times, and we kind of put this thing together based on the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue that Fayetteville does with motorcycles. We wanted it to be a family event. We wanted it to be a deal where families come to our area, spend the weekend with Nebo as the catalyst,
Right.
for their entertainment. Russellville is going to, obviously you have the housing over here, so it makes sense that we do the registration in Russellville on Friday night. So they're going to do a big to do at the depot, and
Arkansas will be here.
Yeah, Arkansas will be here.
Yours truly is emceeing that concert, by the way. Just heads up.
Are you really?
Yeah, you're right.
I might need to check that out.
You might need to come on over. Actually, that's a Friday night.
That's Friday night.
No, I'm not either.
You're on the football field.
I'm on the football field that night.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
It's going to be a great event, I think. COVID has hurt us some, so we've kind of tweaked. We being Greg and Mayor Harris and Scott Wininski and I, we have separate meetings and kind of oversee what everybody's doing. But we took out the Saturday night event at Dardanelle. We were going to do a live band. I had Mama Tried. I don't know if you've ever heard them. I was really anxious to have them here. That and a movie. So we moved the movie to the mountain for Saturday evening at dusk. And so that'll be a good thing. We're just kind of eliminating a few things that's a big weekend. You're looking at Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, and half a day Sunday. That's a big weekend for people. Packed. So I'm hoping that this turns into an annual event. This year it's going to be rough. COVID, like I said, has really hurt us. But I think that the word's out. The word's getting out even more nationwide. And we want this to be a destination. And everybody come and see what the River Valley is all about and what we have to offer, not just on Mount Nebo or just Dardanelle or Russellville, but the surrounding area, Clarksville to Atkins to Conway, the whole area. Come spend time and spend money and get to know us.
Right. The totality of the River Valley is something that I don't think is talked about enough, because the individual cities like to tote their own accomplishments, as they do. The city of Russellville's got Main Street Russellville they're proud of. Dardanelle's got Front Streets that's doing very, very well. But when you look at the area in total, there are so many people that live in Dardanelle that drive over to Russellville to work. There are people in Russellville that drive to Dardanelle to work or take their kids to school. I mean, the only difference between Dardanelle and Russellville really and truly is the bridge. I think you said that before.
If you look, and I told Mayor Harris this, and some of the other mayors over here in Polk County, if you look at an aerial view of us, we are no different than a Bryant Benton setup. Really. Except we have a creek running between us, basically. And we have got to do a better job as leaders of working together to market the entire area. Because of what you just said, there is such a large number of residents from Yale County that work in Polk County, and vice versa. There's a lot of people that live in Polk County that work at our poultry plants, Walmart, and different things.
Hospitals,
hospitals, absolutely. And so we've got to do a better job of bringing these communities together and working together for the future. For instance, Russellville's industry. Dardanelle's never going to be industrial because we're too far from the interstate, basically, for
Right.
anything large. So I know that there is some new industry looking at Russellville. It's going to be 100 to 200 plus jobs. You have the casino if it ever gets off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's 1,200-ish, give or take, jobs. At least 33% of all the employees that take these new jobs are going to come from the other side of the bridge in Dardanelle, Yale County. So, Russellville is hampered with housing currently. You're starting to outgrow your area for your housing.
Don't we know it here at
Dardanelle.
Olathe Realty?
Dardanelle is the game.
Yeah.
And so, if we're going to be classified as a bedroom community, then I want to be the best dadgum bedroom community we can. We can offer a great education. We have great churches over there. The city is phenomenal. We offer a tremendous amount of services for a very low price in the city of Dardanelle. And housing is just, I've looked personally, you know this.
Yeah.
Sold my house recently, so I've been looking for 6 months trying to downsize from something in Dardanelle. I can't find anything. And so I'm going to have to build. Fortunately, I
You
had
have
two
to stay
lots
in the
next to
limits,
me.
too.
I have to stay in the city limits. So we just need to do a better job. We actually need to have a long-term plan and a short-term plan of how we're going to go. That's what I think for our area. The mayors in Polk County, myself and over in Dardanelle have got to be at the table at least once a quarter or so talking about the future and figuring out, one, how to have common ground, how to meet in the middle and have different. They want to go after an industry. I need to be at the table with them, helping them sell it
Sure.
and get that industry here. Why? Because it's important to my people over there. Vice versa. If they need staffing, I need to beat the bushes and find staffing. During the flood, for instance, ConAgra, I know it. During the flood, ConAgra had 361 employees from Yale County. 361. That's just ConAgra. That's a bunch.
Yeah.
And so those people were dependent, when we fought to keep that bridge open, those people were dependent economically on getting themselves to working back and having a paycheck. And they were dependent on us keeping it open so their people could get to working back. And so it's changed. It's changing quickly, and it's going to change even quicker. Dardanelle's growing exponentially. We've got new housing going up everywhere, and I see in the future, I see new areas being developed, and it's going to be hard on me because we have 4 annexation projects going right now, and we've got to expand our area, but I got to do it carefully because if not, for a football term, we're going to outrun our coverage.
Yep.
And we're not going to be able to provide water, sewer, police, fire. I need to make sure we do it in the proper steps so that we can provide all the services people deserve.
There's a question that I have about that, but we will get to that in just a second. I want to remind you folks, if you are looking for a home in Yale County, Polk County, wherever you're looking, you can look for it right here at Olathe Realty. Just give us a call. It's 479-968-5668 or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. Here's the question that I had. With 4 different annexation projects going on at one time, all the growth that's happening, Dardanelle's moving from a high school football and sports classification from 4A to 5A, which means the student population has surpassed 2,300, I think is what the threshold is.
Sure.
So with all of these projects happening and with all this growth happening, the question becomes, is Dardanelle now in a place of saying, listen, we have got to get new business in as quickly as we can to get the tax dollars in to pay for all this?
We do. So that's the other side of that. To provide those services, I have to have the revenue to hire extra people.
Right.
And as we all know right now, the pay is up. We're struggling to find people to work, so they're paying them some pretty good wages. We have a personnel committee meeting tomorrow night. We had a budget meeting last night just to discuss a lot of this. And we're having growing pains. And I told them it's happening about 2-3 years quicker than I thought it was going to happen. But we have got to have the jobs. We got to get the pay up. Our school system, Brent, if I don't miss my mark, we may be seeing the 2,800 mark in kids in the next 5 years in our district. That's huge.
Well, and to put that into perspective, Dardanelle, the city limits sign for years and years and years had a population of like 3,500 on it. That's not even close to what it is now, especially if the school population is almost that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even close to that.
You know, our census, that's a whole nother topic. I was on the phone with Director Hayes from the Municipal League day before yesterday. Literally every city in the state is complaining because the census come in really low. It showed us dropping 200 and something people, and I know better.
Oh, yeah.
There's literally not 5 pieces of property for sale in the entire city right now. And so I know it's wrong. But I had lunch with one gentleman that he's in the process of building approximately 40-ish new houses. He's got first 3 in the dry, and he's already sold them all. And he's already planning the next 3. He bought enough lumber to carry him forward for several more houses already. And so I know what his plans are. I know the annexation stuff that we're working on, and that's going to accommodate another possibly 40 to 60 homes in that area. And then there's another project that may begin the works, and there's a lot. You could easily have an extra 200 people, and if you figure that at 2.5 kids per family, well, do the math.
The question now becomes, though, what kind of businesses do you need to support this, and how do you get to them?
You know, we're seeing a lot of we have 2 new nutrition places open. One on Union Street, one on Front Street. We have a couple different counseling services opened up, and they're now hiring more personnel. We still have 4 major pieces of property to develop for new business on Front Street there by City Hall, and we're out of room. Literally, you can't park anywhere around.
Nope.
So that was part of the discussion last night. We're going to have to look at buying some other property around close to it, kind of like downtown Russell here, where we're going to have public parking. So you're not only customers, but employees can park. Get the employees off the street, get them back there somewhere else behind the buildings, and that way it frees up the customers to park up front. But small business, we need the things, you know, I'd really, really like to have stuff that hires 10, 15, or 20 people at a time, but is able to have a good wage. Machine shops. You know, Robert and Shannon Dunn have a machine shop. John Gasaway has a machine shop there. They both employ quite a few people, and they pay pretty well. Those are the type of jobs on my side that we're after. I've talked to a guy from Alabama. He's interested. He has a 40-year-old business in Alabama. He had a friend in Dardanelle. She always told him about Dardanelle. He's tired of Alabama. He reaches out and says, "What do you think? Might pull up everything I got and move to Dardanelle." The whole shamoli, 60 employees. So there's a lot working. There's a lot working that I'm not at liberty to talk about yet.
Right.
But they will be good jobs, and they'll be good paying jobs.
Well, I mean, even places like Auto Mall, they don't come in if they don't think they can't support that kind of business, and they just moved a big old truck lot right there at the end of Union.
They're having trouble keeping enough cars on the lot. They're selling them fast, and that's I talked to them yesterday. I drive by and there'll be 7 or 8 gone in empty spaces. It's crazy. And when they get the service bay open and really get everything going, the truck center, you're looking at them employing 15 people, maybe even more, there in Dardanelle.
It's crazy to think that the movement on this has been so fast.
It's just overnight.
Now here's my question. What do you attribute that to? I know that Dardanelle has dropped its crime rate to,
about 300%.
300% is the new number.
300%.
So, I mean, obviously that makes it a very attractive place to live.
It's clean. We've cleaned it up. It's, we work on that literally every day. We bought a side-by-side for Public Works. I know Russell's got a couple. It's kind of the going tool that you have nowadays in the city. Our code enforcement officer is on it 2 times a week at least, and he's out checking. He can check yards, he can do permits, he can pick up trash. My employees are real good. If we're driving down the road, including myself, we stop, we pick it up. If there's a piece of trash in the road, we stop and pick it up. I got them all 5-gallon buckets and little grabbers, and you just carry it in the back of your truck, put the trash in there. Next time you're around the dumpster, you dump it, and away you go. It makes a world of difference. And what we've seen is by us being willing to do that, our citizens are doing it.
That was the next question. Do you think that there's been a culture change? Because
Big,
it feels
big,
like,
big.
you know, I've spent more time in Dardanelle over the last year or so than I have, you know, previously, getting to work there again and getting to go back home. It literally, tangibly feels different.
The phrase I was told Monday, it feels like Mayberry.
Okay.
Home.
Yeah.
Home.
Yeah.
Everybody is knowing everybody again. People are meeting their neighbors. They're spending time with each other. It's more home. It's not just you're in. I don't know you, and I don't care to know you, and I'm just going to do my thing, and you do your thing. They're really, really coming together as a community.
That's what you always hoped for. I remember my first job was in Dardanelle, right down from the school at the old Dairy Delight.
Yep.
All right. We used to call it the has-been hangout because all the high school kids that didn't have anything going on that just graduated just go hang out there in that corner booth. But that was why, I mean, Dardanelle was home. We would have Kent Talent and Mark Thone broadcasting the games over the loudspeaker at Dairy Delight on Friday nights. I mean, it was small town Americana.
That's right.
And it's starting to move back there again. Was that something that you said to your guys and to your folks, hey, this is what we're setting out to do, or did that just kind of happen naturally?
No, it was a plan. And trust me, there's one thing I want to say. This is not about me.
Yeah.
This is about everybody buying into an idea.
Yeah.
And I told everybody on day one, of course, we met with all the employees, and I told them, look, some of you work in the water, some work in wastewater, some of you are in animal control, some of you are over here in the street. The check that we write and sign says City of Dardanelle. You all, including me, work for the City of Dardanelle, period. So nobody is too good to leave your department and go help another department or pick up trash or do whatever is needing to be done. But I had to be willing to do the same thing. I can't ask without being willing and able to do the same thing.
Well, there were the pictures of you that came out on social media of you by yourself in Merritt Park sweeping things up, you know, and I don't think you knew anybody was watching, but they were. But that's the kind of thing that changes a community.
Well, it's just work. It's just work, and I enjoy that. It gets me out of the office,
right? And
I like to give back, and you know, it needed to be done, and we were shorthanded, and somebody needs to do it.
Yeah, but there's something, you know, even being back on Friday nights every Friday night, you know, I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. That I've been on ESPN3. I've done the whole national sports thing. The one gig I wanted since I was a kid was to be the voice of the Dardanelle Sand Lizards because it means something.
That's right.
It means something over there. There's something that's just different. So, folks, if you're thinking about moving to the River Valley, even if you're not living in Dardanelle, you're close enough to it to get to experience it, and you start to see that culture shift again.
You know, here's the deal, and this is just my opinion, but it doesn't matter how big of a city you are. You can still have it can still be homey.
Yeah.
You can still have closeness. It's like a big family. You're not always going to get along with each other. That's obvious.
Go to a city council meeting.
But it's okay it's okay to disagree, you know, and move forward. As long as the goal is here, and we may stray off the path occasionally and get back on it. You know, as Christians, we do that as well.
Every day.
I've taught Sunday school lessons on. We're like a dog walking down on a leash down the sidewalk, and the sidewalk's Jesus, and all of a sudden we're left, then we're back, then we're right, then we're back.
There's a dog biscuit over here.
That's right. Thank the Lord, He forgives me. But it's okay to disagree, but it's the fact that it's like your big family. We might talk about each other, but don't let somebody come in and talk about us because we're going to defend each other. We're home. We're neighbors. We're friends. We're family, and we treat each other that way. You go to lunch, like today. Went to lunch. T&W Barbecue on Front Street. fantastic. We're so blessed. We have 2 great barbecue places in Dardanelle. One out on Highway 22, Naughty Barbecue. Trent and West downtown, TNW on Front Street. We're sitting at the table. Literally every person that came in, and half the people in there were from Russellville. Every person that came in, we knew each other. And it was like we were at a big Thanksgiving dinner. Everybody's talking across the room to each other.
Right.
It was awesome. It was awesome. And that's how it is every day we go to lunch. You know, we know everybody. We're waving, we're high, we're hugging, we're whatever. You know, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That bleeds over. They leave there, go back to their workplaces. It spreads. It's just like COVID. It just spreads.
Right, but this is good.
But it's good.
Right.
And I know I talk a lot about Dardanelle. That's my job.
Well, that's what
and
we're
that's why I'm there.
Yeah.
I ran for that job for that reason. I wanted to, my last thing I want to do in life, and hopefully the people will bless me and I'll get to retire there, and we'll finish all these projects.
Well, we could talk about this for another half hour, but maybe that's been 30 minutes already.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's it. Folks, that's Mayor Jimmy Witt. Anything you want to tell the people of Dardanelle while we're here?
No, I love you and pray for you every day.
There's one thing I do need to ask you. Now, as of this recording, we don't know how Dardanelle did against Ozark, but last Friday, pick up the big win against Clinton.
Yeah.
Starting to look like Dardanelle football again.
Played much better. Big win.
That one felt good.
It did.
That was a lot of fun.
And it was really nice to be, you know, I did not go to a single football game last year. Number one, I didn't want to take a ticket away from any family member that was trying to go. You know, tickets were only given out for so many. So I stayed home, listened to them on the radio or watched the live stream when I could. So this year, that was really nice to be able to go and listen, and the atmosphere and the fans, and got to have a great time up there with you and Taylor and Matt, and, you know, and just talking to everybody. And it was awesome. It was just the entire night was great. It was a good win. It was good for Dardanelle, and I'm proud of those guys.
It's good.
Sand Lizard all the way.
All the way, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Mayor Jimmy Witt, thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
All righty, folks. That's the mayor of Dardanelle, Jimmy Witt. This is the Spotlight. Thanks so much for joining us. Greg Hines is coming up later on this week, and then a representative from Arkansas Nuclear One to tell us all about the things that they have going on with outage starting in just a couple of days. So stay tuned for that. For now, my name is Drew Brent. If you're in the market to buy or sell your home, give us a call today, 479-968-5668. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.